What's up, everybody? Warm hello and a sincere thank you. Thank you for spending a little bit of your precious time here with me. It's Friday. Oh, how time flies. It's March 7th, 2025. This is going to be part of the Quick Market Update series on my YouTube channel. I do these live streams 3 days a week, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. I do these are kind of quick market streams. I really want to hear from you. I want to try to answer your questions, create some value, and I do the full market report twice a week, Wednesday, Sunday night at Bitcoin Live with the best team in the world that studies crypto. I've been doing that for 7 years. I'm, of course, Big Cheds on Twitter. You probably know me from there. Cheds Trading YouTube. I teach professional technical analysis, Japanese candlestick theory, classical charting. I try to take the complicated and make it a little bit less complicated for you. I published 3 books. Trading Wisdom, My Battles with Cancer, and Trading Quotes. My 4th book is coming really soon, probably within the week. It's kind of a mock-up of the cover. It's going to be awesome. I'm making my 3rd book free. Check out the Trading Quotes playlist. If you want to know my chart setup, moving averages, how I'm just approaching things, and you want to get a grip on just like basic trading stuff, you really need to watch the Masterclass playlist in my YouTube. So that's all out of the way. We'll look at Bitcoin. We'll do Ethereum. We'll do Solana. I want to hear from you in the chat room. Especially if you've never been here before, never said hi, just shoot me a message. Say hi. Let me know how you're doing, what you're thinking. Give me like a good question, a problem you're struggling with, and we'll try to create some value. I don't have any tweets today to go over, so I figured I'll just do a quick riff on the market. Bitcoin. What are we doing with Bitcoin? I mean, you know, if you go to the weekly chart, monthly, weekly, it looks really good, obviously. Price above and, rising MA200. It's still above the prior range peak on the weekly, but we're still suffering the blows of the range breakdown on the daily. You know, whether you call it 90, whether you call it 91, 92, it still essentially looks to me like an underside retest at this point. And, the usefulness, somebody asked in the chat, and I'll get to that, like 90K itself isn't a great pivot level anymore since the price is breaking around, kind of chopping through it. We've had real extreme volatility, especially with these 2 candles, the announcement of the reserve, and we kind of retraced that. So we have to kind of put these pieces together. We do certainly have local overhead. You can view it on the 4H, right around 80, 94 or so, but still this is underside, which when you have a range breakdown and you have bounces into the underside, you have to respect that. And that suggestion of a weakening trend here in the daily, which concerns me and still makes it to where you want to be really careful here because it really should have held, on the initial test of this level, given how important it was to the price, the times bulls responded, since November. So I'm still viewing this as underside action. We've got a 4H overhead trigger, around 94.5 roughly. And then you have kind of the daily channel trying to find support at the DMA 200, daily MA 200. But there's no structure here. There's no structure to give you confidence that it should hold here. But at least you have local support, local demand to watch around 83K. So you kind of mark it up that way. You've got the descending supply trend to kind of visualize more anxious sellers on the way down. And then you have the prior range peak, 72 to 74K. So you've kind of marked that up. You've got a little bit of a mixed picture in that you're looking at the higher time frame trend, but you're also marking things up more locally. Locally means more recently, and on lower time frame, vis-a-vis the 4-hour. And now we're seeing a tightening range here on the 4-hour. Our high or low or low or high, maybe you can call high or low here, but definitely this is a higher low to watch, 83K roughly. Definitely our higher low to watch. So we're seeing a tightening range. Boom, 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 boom. We'll get some resolution from there. I'm viewing this as underside, which is why you still want to be cautious. What do we think about Ethereum? What do we think about Solana? And then I want to go right to the chat room. I really just wanted to talk to you guys today. I don't have anything to lecture on. I don't have anything and I want to riff on too much. But I did want to say hi. I love doing these streams. No agenda, of course. Ethereum just weak, kind of sucks, unfortunately. High time frame threatening a rollover. Needs to hold 2100. Below 2100, it's got a big drop down to 1500 range. Definitely signs of weakening trend on Ethereum. Continues to be weak in comparison to the chief or the king, which is Bitcoin. This is rolling over, continuing to drop lower. Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And Solana kind of disappointing to see that it couldn't even hold here in the recapture of 160, announcements to reserve, all that stuff. Solana looks to be rolling over as well. Sure, it's got support. It's got kind of layered support, but it hasn't held on any of these throw tests or retests from above. And you kind of see in the weekly chart, hinted at a rollover here, loss of MA50. And you kind of normally see in this situation, maybe kind of a pull or a hold here and a drop into a lower high, and then kind of the beginning of a falling channel. So that's kind of just my initial initial sense of what we might be looking at. So let's get right to it, folks. I'm going to go to the chat room. If you're hearing my voice, I want you to say hi, where you're from. Give me a good trading question, something you're struggling with, and I'm going to try to add value. So Thomas says, thanks for the videos. What is up, Thomas? Good to see you, brother. What's up, Cliff? Nice to see you. Dreamer Matej, Peter Marchwan, Caleb Indy, Mohammed. Many of the same names. I love to see you folks keeping coming back time and again. So Cliff, what's up, Cliff? You want to know, and by the way, that song is Church of Eight Wheels, the intro, outro song. What are your thoughts on XRP? It's one of the better looking charts, held up nicely. I want to see it above, pardon me, I'd like to see it kind of hold here at 250. But generally, this is like one of the better looking charts. XRP is one of the better looking charts right now. So I think it's bullish to me. Looks really good. Nice response off of $2 range. Price above the rising MA200. Short's taken some damage. The market itself has taken damage. But you have the idea of relative strength. You don't just say I'm playing the market. You're playing individual charts. So it's still one of the better looking charts. Finishing off my coffee here. XRP still looks really good to me. Zaxi says 89. Indeed, brother. Indy said good morning. Jake says Bitcoin struggling to stay above 90. Not a nice look. Yeah. I don't know that we're using 90 anymore because the price has been chopping through, but it just generally looks like a series of underside tests. And you can even kind of look at it this way. We're sure 90K, but really locally, really kind of in this series of small bodies, all these doji, by the way, the plural of doji is doji, all these spinning tops, which means just small candle body, could be a hammer, could be anything, just small body. And this is really where bull stepped in, boom, lost it, underside. So it just looks to me like underside. Yeah, it'd be nice to be above 90 for psychological. Psychological levels are important. But I'm not necessarily using 90K anymore to structure a trade thesis, given how the price is chopping through it. I'd like to see it hold it. But we're kind of running up against, this overhead and the rising DMA 200. As well. We'll see which one of those gives. First, what I think about Sui. Mohammed, let's take a look, brother. Hope you're doing well. I don't like it anymore. I mean, it should have held around 3. Definitely a loss of momentum, and we're in a falling channel, a series of lower lows and lower highs. So bears are in complete control. Look at these moving averages. Look at that. They're moving all in concert. That's not good. Right? Not good. I mean, does it have to drop all the way down to $2? Probably. We shall see it. But I think the Sui chart, which was once just absolute stud, killer, one of the best, relative strength, MA50, started to lose the MA50. And that's what we're seeing with SOL on the weekly, right? You kind of see that as well. Even though this is a daily, imagine this is, it's the same kind of rollover. And then here, underside, right? So, a couple of people asked about Sui. Doesn't look so good. Come on, folks. Give me some good questions. I want to see how you're doing. YB says, I recommend everyone go subscribe to Bitcoin Live. Been a member for 3 years. Can't recommend it enough. Thank you. Really appreciate you being part of the team. I do have free reports out there. I probably do a few a year. And you can also go to the public blog, which is free. You sign up. Just give them your email. And you can kind of see, you get a sense of what I do there. And by the way, it's just when you sign up, you get the whole team's work. It's not just my stuff. I think it's worth it just for my stuff. I'm proud of what I do. I haven't missed a report in 7 years, twice a week. So we talked about 90K there. A hardcore gamer says, do you trade in the 15-minute and 5-minute time frames? Absolutely not. And you certainly shouldn't be. I think the lowest I'll ever really go is like a 1 hour, and that's after extreme volatility. I'm not looking to just lose my money, brother. I mean, when you drop to time frames that low, there's just a limit to what TA can do. You know, it's just like, what's the point? Like, if you're doing a 15-minute trade, it has to be within a 15-minute time frame. So you're looking for like a move from 59 to 59,300 or something. Not, sorry, from like 88 to 88.5 or something small. Like, what if you're dropping a 15 or 5 minute? You are addicted to action. You are straight up gambling. If you're in my chat room and you're like looking to me for wisdom and advice, like fine, Chartman Dan, someone who was like a master of the game, yeah, he'll look at 15 minute maybe. You should not be that low a time frame. That is like, that's a big, for me, a big warning sign. You should be playing on like 4 hour. 4 hour, especially for Bitcoin, is really good for trading, for marking momentum, for understanding the trend. Do not trade in 15 or 5 minute. If you want to understand time frames, how to use them, watch the Masterclass tutorials. But 15-minute to 5-minute, like, stop doing that. Hello from Serbia. What is up? We talked about SUI. Ethereum is the worst chart ever. Yeah. It's going to have another run for sure. I know it's been beat up. I know people have been making fun of it for quite a while. We'll have some action. There'll be some time in the next year or two where everyone loves it, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. Kita wants me to explain my most recent trade. I'm not going to go over like a specific trade, but I'll just, if you want to check out my masterclass playlist, that's going to give you a sense of my method and my style. Hello from Portugal, Botarja, bon dia, buona noche, nice to see you. TRX, Xenoprez says TRX. Yeah, it's bullish. I like it. It's held at 22.5. We've been watching this level. I've been talking about it here, Bitcoin Live, since January. Now you have a local overhead trigger. You can very easily take a long at 25 cents. It's one of the better looking charts. It's held up. It's digested this move from November when it shot up from 22 to 43. Wow. This is one of the better looking charts. It's near the top of my list. And absolutely, yes, it is a great looking chart. What do I think about Telcoin? I think I have it up here. Someone requested it. Yeah, it's on Qcoin. I'd like to see it in like Binance. I'm not going to tweet about something that's on, Qcoin, but if it's on like a major exchange, if this is on a major exchange, I would be tweeting it. It's a bullish chart. It looks good, grinding higher, nice stair step, and holding at 007-ish range. Caleb says for some alts, would a recapture the DMA 200 be a long signal? No, not necessarily. That's a good question, Caleb. And Caleb, give me a chart you have in mind. By the way, when you're using moving averages, and I'm talking about this in my trading journal book that's coming out pretty soon. I have a bunch of like sample trade setups and theses. Like, what's a thesis? One's like, retesting the DMA 200 for the first time. Worked here, but you got lucky. What happens is, ideally, you've got some horizontal structure to work with. So when you're using a moving average, you need to have horizontal structure to use to manage your risk. So it can't just be recapture of DMA 200. It needs to be recapture of lost resistance, right? So if you have like a really bad downtrend, and I always tell people, like, just delete it from your watch list or just sell and wait for a recapture. I love it. Well, you can ride it all the way down, or you can wait for it to bounce and recapture lost support and then continue with the trend. So pick some line in the sand. You want to have some clear level to use that to define your risk. And for many altcoins, it was those April 2022 lows. But no, it's a good question. And no, just recapturing the moving average should put you on watch to be looking to identify some structure that you can use to initiate a trade. And that would be horizontal structure. Nick Wright, as a Tesla bull, when should I have cut my bags after the top? Let's take a look at Tesla. Yeah, let's take a look at Nikolai Tesla. I know I have it in here. So here you go. I mean, definitely right here. I mean, loss of 380 was pretty bad sign, kind of in a descending triangle breakdown. Normally, descending triangle is continuation. You don't even have to call it a descending triangle to identify a descending supply trend, and well-defined demand that was lost. So you could have sold here for sure. Pardon me. That would have been a pretty good sign. I'm looking here in the weekly chart. Could have even played off of a weekly up thrust where you've identified the price advance into the prior high and the loss really of that 400 range. You had plenty of warning signs. There's no reason you just hold. You don't just hold from 450 down to 250. Like, what are you doing? I mean, you're not really respecting your money at all. So that is that. So definitely you had plenty of warning signs to exit. Jason says, hey, Cheds, hope you're well. Can you look at Telcoin? I already looked at Telcoin. How you doing? A couple of people asked about that. Somebody asked about Ondo. Sure. Take a little peek. I have it up here. Yeah, I mean, I want to see it hold. It's an okay chart. It's definitely lost a lot of momentum. I'd say if it drops, if it cannot hold above $1, I like that. It's right. It's a psychological level, and it's kind of right. It's got some price structure. Below $1, I think you want to pare back your risk. A lot of damage isn't done. It still has the idea of a weekly stair step in play, but it's like, bulls need to step in. Where are they? And you see a lot of distribution here, a lot of distribution in the volume profile. You can just tell the OBV will be shooting straight down. Boom, right? You don't even need to use it. You can just see the OBV here in the price. So that's not looking good. There's definitely some distribution there. Already looked at Ondo. It's funny. It looks like you folks are all either making a bunch of Smurf accounts and asking for the same thing, or you folks are all kind of asking for the same stuff. Victor says, can we treat 95K as a short setup? Sure. If you get a bounce into that, absolutely. I mean, anytime you have a well-defined structure, here it would be resistant, bounce, pull back, aka underside retest. If it did it again, absolutely. But you do not want to hold if it can recapture 95 or 95.5. If you're going to short in an uptrend, it's still technically an uptrend daily and weekly. You really want to make sure you're managing your risk. So yes, but don't be stubborn and just hold. Don't be stubborn and just hold all the way. Come on, give me a couple more good questions before I wrap things up. Let's go, folks. Come on, folks. Give me some good, my friends. Thanks for being here, 200 of you. Hope everybody's doing well. How many of you 200 folks have watched the Masterclass tutorials? You must watch these. I would watch this before you're trading. It's going to give you some really good tricks and help you understand the trend. What do I think about OM? Says Zhao Mamede. Zhao, what do I think about OM? Do I think it's still intact? It's a good question. Definitely a lot of damage has been done on OM Mantra. Yeah, I mean, weekly, you can tell weekly is going to still be weekly's like gorgeous. So yeah, absolutely beautiful. Still basically just testing weekly EMA 8. Absolutely beautiful. Daily chart looks nice. First lower Bollinger dip. So absolutely intact. Yeah, trend is 100% intact. I mean, there's no question. I'm cheap. I like to buy in a discount. So I'd like to a little bit lower, maybe around 6. That would be ideal for me. And maybe if the whole market pukes, I'd be buying with both fists rather, 415, 420-ish range. But yeah, I mean, OM looks unbelievable. It's one of the better looking charts. It's a great question. Great question. Todd, how long do I let my runners run? It really kind of depends. It's a great question. And I'm writing about this in Trading Journal. I probably sell my winners too soon. And Peter Brand talks about you have to let your winners ride. And he talks about this in his diary of commodities trader and in all his work. It really depends. If I can get into a good position where I am buying, I'll try to think of a situation where I'm buying. Like, so for example, let's say I had taken a trade here on Bitcoin. And you folks may have heard of Bitcoin. You may be familiar with it. I tend to watch it all day. So say you had taken a long here and like a sweep and recapture, right? Either here or maybe even here. And then you could actually have added to your position. So you have two ways you could have done this. You could have added to your position on the range break, or you could have, take your full position, maybe sold half here. Now you're just riding it. Once you've if I've taken a long on the bottom of a well-defined range, and now my idea has been confirmed, I can let it ride for quite a while with my risk managed on the prior high. So it really just depends on how good my entry is, and if the price continues. Confirming the structure. This is a great question. Turtle Monk, do you have a checklist that you have to be matched for a trade and how you decide to take a trade? I don't anymore. I did a lot back in the day. I don't really anymore because now I just define my risk. But this is something I recommend you do if you're a new and struggling trader. Have a very strict criteria for the trade. Where you make sure the price is at a key level, the level is well defined, there's volume, on the breakout, or the structure is clean. You should come up with some strict criteria. You should have a well-defined idea. You got to find ways to prevent over trading. Like that guy who asked me about 5-minute, 15-minute. I mean, that's ridiculous to me. And you're way over trading. If you find yourself in that position, write down your trade idea. Go do some push-ups. Does the idea still make sense? Try to explain it to a friend. Does your friend think it's a good idea? Like, force yourself to write it down and explain yourself. You need to come up with ways to slow yourself down because it can be so, especially in 24/7 markets and with all these instruments you can be trading, find ways to slow yourself down, and coming up with strict criteria is generally quite a good idea. Let's see. Okay, David, if Bitcoin collapses, to 72K. Now before I answer that, there's a difference between collapsing and slowly bleeding, right? If it Bitcoin quote unquote collapsed to 72, 74K, that would be really good for a bounce, right? Because if you have a price level and you want to bounce off of it, you want volatility, you want a quick drop into that level to create an overextension in the short term. That would be a deep dip below the Bollinger Band here in the weekly. But a slow bleed to a level is less likely to hold. So collapse into it would mean it's probably going to hold. But a slow bleed towards it means it's less likely to hold, just as a general concept. John says, I appreciate your story and your analysis. Thanks, man. And over the years, you've helped me keep my mind right. Thank you. Thank you, John. I love you folks. I hope you know that. I've done a lot of spaces over the years. Not so much recently. They take so much energy out of me and mojo, but I've got probably 40 or 50 of them recorded here. And you can hear me talking to you folks for hours, just answering your questions. And I love hearing your voice. And I love being able to just talk to you and connect. I love doing this. And I'm telling you, I try to do most of my stuff. I try to make it free. My books are mostly free. And then if you want more, I've got premium content, of course, Bitcoin Live. And I give Bitcoin Live the best I've got. But I also try to put really good content on Twitter, X, and YouTube for you folks. So this has been fun. I'm going to go get some lunch. Folks, I'm going to do another live stream tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. or so. Thank you for showing up here today. I love your questions. If I didn't get to your question today, I'm sorry. I'll try to get to it next time. Show up early. Make sure you come for all the videos. And ask your questions. I answered a lot of them, so I'm really trying. But you folks are doing a great job. You're adding content. You're helping me, you're giving me stuff to talk about. So thank you. Thank you for showing up. This is part of the Quick Market Update series on YouTube. I published 3 books. My 4th book is coming very soon. I hope you are excited. And we'll check out the trading journal. I talk about why you should use a journal, how to fill it out, what example trading setups are, how those trading setups will fail. I talk about good trader habits, emotional management. It's Trading Wisdom Part 2, which is by far my most successful book. It sold over 15,000 copies, if you can believe that. So since I have a new book coming out, my 3rd book is going to be free. I started recording that already. Check out the playlist. I will record the entire book, so check that out. My cancer memoir. All my stuff's on Amazon, too, if you want audiobook. Bitcoin Live, best team in the world that studies crypto. I've been doing that for 7 years. So, folks, thank you. It's been wonderful, wonderful to have you here. And I hope you have a wonderful Friday night. Try to have some fun. Don't go too hard. Take care of yourself. And I will talk to you soon. Big Cheds out. Quick, great comment by Victor. He says, I would have saved a lot more money if I had accepted and copied your altcoin trading style rather than following narratives on X of alt season. That's it. Don't play narratives. Play individual charts and every idea must be defined by the risk. It has to be your risk has to be defined by the idea. So I'm long because it broke resistance. Well, if it fails to hold resistance, you have to get out of the trade. Play chart to chart. Don't wait for alt season. Play strength. When everything's falling apart, there's always good charts, and when everything's great, there's bad charts. So don't just play bad charts waiting for alt season. If your chart sucks, get out. Get out of your chart if it sucks. Like Super's looking bad, Filecoin's looking bad, especially Filecoin. Like, just don't play bad charts. Don't hold on to them. Play strength, ride strength. Make it easier on yourself. This is a brutal, brutal market. There's too many things to play. Just play good stuff. Play strong charts, buy dips and uptrends, sell rips and downtrends, and you'll be just fine. All right? All right, let's get back to it. Peace out.